Joining us now, journalist and host of the Megyn Kelly Show. I'm a good friend of mine, Megyn Kelly. So, Megyn, before we move on to some of the other stuff, we see all of a sudden number 1, 2, and 3 on the late night talk show circuit. It strikes me as very odd that they're not out there politicking for the Democrats who are running for Senate offices and gubernatorial offices. They're going to late night. Is this the new retail politicking for Dems?
Well, they're exactly right about where their audience is. That's the only people left watching those shows. Those comedians you just showed, that was a depressing piece in a way, abandoned the right half of the country, and I include the center. The center is more right-leaning just by virtue of how far left the left has gone right now. So they've abandoned more than half the country. Their desire to inflame our tempers was greater than their desire to tickle our funny bones. They wanted the smattering of applause as tempers rose over the items that they were outlining and using to bash Trump, more than they wanted to bring the country together during a difficult time and give us a laugh. And now, just like with CNN, the country has abandoned them. The right half of the country would never watch these people. They know that these 4 guys you just showed us hate them. And the thing is, Eric, it was an interesting thing to listen to because as I listened to what you were saying, most people when they get older get a little bit more conservative. That's just the way life works. And these guys are the exception, just like Jon Stewart, who's fighting for relevance on some digital show nobody's watching now. He's not getting more conservative as he gets older. He's getting more leftist, more ardent, more angry, more vehement, more hateful. So why is that? Because these guys have chosen to surround themselves with nothing but far leftists who will only reward them for being far leftists and for saying far leftist things. And so they're in this, echo chamber where the only things that get praised, rewarded, or financially paid for are leftist opinions, right? And so that they just keep doing more of it, and then it rubs off on them. Same thing with the journalists. The journalists, too, who are at these organizations only get the pats on the head if they say the things that they know, for example, in the Jeff Zucker era of CNN, Jeff Zucker would like. That's why so many people are now getting fired, because all those people submitted to his will, and now that there's new management, they've made themselves unhireable, right? So there's a parallel course there, and that's one of the joys of being independent media these days is I don't care about access journalism. I couldn't give 2 figs whether any of these people ever comes on my show, whether it's Biden or DeSantis. I can say about them whatever I want because I don't have to please any corporate masters. But you see it in those late night guys. They do, and they suffer from Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, in the late night guy, they used to be fun. They used to take shots at both sides. Granted, everyone has a slant, a lean, I get it, but all these guys, they've completely just they walk the party line. They toe the party line. They won't ask Biden a tough question. They won't ask Kamala. They don't even follow up with the very day before that she's sitting there saying no one should go to jail for weed. Her boss, and she sent 1,900 to jail. He just allows people out. It's incredible, the hypocrisy, and no one says a word. But can I just ask you about? Can I tell you
something? Because I've been on all these shows, from The View to every show you just showed, and they usually give you the questions in advance. Joe Biden, that thing like they should go to jail, guarantee you that was a total setup. He knew that was coming, and that was his great line that was given to him, either by the producers or his own team. It was all rehearsed. With me, I remember going on The View being like, what are you giving me the questions for? I'm a journalist. I can answer my own questions. You don't have to give me the questions in advance. This is some weird test I need to ace with an A. Just throw them at me. We're good. But all that stuff on those kinds of shows is rehearsed.
Yeah, I would... I remember the first time I was on The View, I was coming out and they knew they were going to go after. I heard it was like, go after the Trump guy, come on. And I walked out with 5 roses and I had one out to each. And it took them down a notch for a second. But then second round, Sunny hosted and she went at it. But here's the question. If they're losing their ratings, if late night is losing their ratings, and they are. So as these guys, these 4 late night guys, and you have to add in Trevor Noah, who's just got bounced from The Daily Show, and Jon Stewart, who Trevor Noah took over for. He's trying to be relevant. Megyn, don't they see the writing on the wall? They're getting bounced, their numbers are crashing, but they're not pivoting to try and make things better.
You know what, Eric, they're in the exact same position as Don Lemon of CNN, as Chris Cuomo was at CNN, and some of these other people, which is it's too late. It's too late, even if they do see the writing on the wall. They've already telegraphed to the right half of the country, not only am I not going to be fair to you, I hate you. And so there's no coming back after that. There's no like, hey, maybe I'll just spend some time with Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, wait, he hates me. I'm not going to do that. And everything I listen to is going to be like a smack in the face right now. Even if he took the smack in the face away, how would I enjoy an hour with him late at night when I'm in my PJs and my sweatpants and I'm having my glass of wine when I know he can't stand me? Right? Can't stand my family, can't stand any of my values. So that ship has sailed. Maybe these networks could start again with new people, find somebody who doesn't have the baggage. But I have my doubts about that too, because they're just so leftist. Megyn McCain was at The View. She has these horrible stories about how everyone was against her. And you know how it is. Like, the most reasonable people in news are always the crew. And the crew tells you you're a cruddy person, you are. And when the crew's with you, you're on the right track. And so you go to these organizations and it's like, I'm sure at NBC for Jimmy Fallon, I'm sure at ABC for Jimmy Kimmel, the entire production staff is cheering them on, like, you nailed it again, So it's going to take somebody like a crew member to pull them aside and say, you lost half the country. There's no way back unless you do a complete apology, 180, and then we'll see.
And then you brought up Don Lemon. Don Lemon gets, I guess, demoted out of his 9 o'clock slot, or 9 and 10, I think he had, to morning. He says it's not. He's so happy about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's such a joke. I love it. All I could think of when he got booted out of his own show with his name on it in the prime time, down to the morning where he has two other co-hosts sitting there next to him of equal importance, and said, it's a promotion, was, sure, Jan.
Yeah, and how about Tapper? Tapper's going to lead with Joe Biden on his first show. He's going to launch his first show, which was, by the way, he's filling the shoes of Cuomo, who got bounced for being a psychotic, crazy, sociopath. But
dishonest, unethical man. That's really why Cuomo got bounced. It wasn't about, like, people say, oh, he helped his brother. You could help your brother. You could say, my brother's in a pickle. I need to take a 3-month leave of absence from this job because I'm going to go be a partisan and a brother, instead of a news anchor who's coming on the air every night saying, these issues are very important to me and always have been, the Me Too stuff. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's like, to the women who are accusing his brother, trying to use his CNN context to smear them. That's a problem of ethics. That's not, oh, he helped his brother, okay? So that was Cuomo. Tapper, I think, has a much better chance of being fair. I'd much rather see Tapper in that role than Cuomo, so that's a start. So I don't know. We'll see. But Cuomo himself cannot Tapper himself cannot turn around the problems at CNN, and he won't.
Yeah, do you think this new CNN looking for some middle ground by their new chairman, their new CEO? Do you think they have a shot? Meanwhile, MSNBC is not really pivoting at all. They're staying hardcore left.
What viewer that turned off CNN because they got too partisan would say, all right, I'll meander back over. Maybe some no-name show in the middle of the day, but I don't think so, because they've got like Allison Camerata there, she's been so hardcore anti-Republican, so hardcore anti-everybody at Fox who helped make her a name. No. So there's really no place to stop of any reason over there. Again, you mentioned the one guy who I like, who's Tapper, who I think, he's not a big Trump fan, but I think he's the closest thing to fair they have. But I don't really think he wants to stay in the prime time. I think he's got a family that he'd like to see. So CNN, they got 3 hours, I think, unfilled in their prime time right now. There's a reason. They don't know what to do.
Final thought, over at MSNBC, we talked about Rachel Maddow, who's now doing just Mondays. They don't seem to be pivoting. And then isn't, the 4 o'clock host, the girl, she used to work for George Bush.
The fake Republican Nicole
Wallace. Nicole Wallace. Yeah. She's all of a sudden she's a hardcore liberal. What? They get there and they completely lose their whole everything.
MSNBC is home of the Lincoln Project. I mean, if you want more Lincoln Project in your life, God love you. You got a long list of problems we can't even start to heal. But yeah, Steve Schmidt and some of these other commentators who give a total pass to that guy who was bothering the young men and grooming them while he was at the Lincoln Project. They're all still on the air.
Weaver, and also Kellyanne Conway's husband. He's part of that Lincoln Project too. Yeah. You know what, Megyn? You're 100% right. The late night hosts, it's all pivoting. It's all changing. Politics, I don't know. Left-wing politics, none of them are doing well. Doesn't seem to be rating it, because everyone's going to the Megyn Kelly podcast, folks. you have to get to the Megyn Kelly podcast. Love Megyn, love my Megyn.
Thank you. So good to see you.
You too. And I didn't even get a chance to talk to you about Giselle and Tom Brady because I love that back and forth you had with one guy, Doug Braun. Can we just throw it up there real quick? Megyn says, I'd rather my husband have a one-night stand than sit and cry with another woman. And Doug's response is just brilliant. This feels like a trap. Megyn.
He texted it to me. This feels like a trap. Yeah, Doug's smart. We both know that.
All right, Megyn. Great having you. I appreciate your time.
Great to see you, Eric.
Okay.